I'm Stanley, and
I'm Hosean.
this is the Leong Forum.
With the Leong brothers.
That's right. We fit in more inspiration, more education, a lot of entertainment because it's Hosean after all on the show. And give or take, 45 minutes, right, so far. Now, if you're old enough, like my brother,
够了吼.
and me, you'll remember the catchphrase, let your fingers do the walking. This was based on an ad campaign by the Yellow Pages back in the 70s and 80s.
Who has a phone book nowadays? Yellow Pages.
Who is it? What
do you don't even know what Yellow Pages is?
Yeah, what are the Yellow Pages? Well, the pages were actually yellow, and this is a printed directory back when we were growing up. So, of course, it's all gone, dead right now.
So if your fingers are doing the walking, it'll be the toes that will be doing the talking. So if you don't look down on those toes of yours, they're very important, okay? Your feet, very important because they speak volumes of what and who you are and who you can be. Talking Toes is a made in Singapore sock brand that helps people find purpose in every step. So if you're feeling very down and you keep looking down, well, hopefully when you look down, you will be inspired to look up.
Yes, Lucas Orr joins us on our show today, The Leong Forum, to talk us through everything from what it means to be the CEO of socks brand Talking Toes, and also the purpose. I think that's even more important, the purpose of his line of socks. Lucas, thanks for joining us on The Leong Forum. Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so
hello.
Lucas, it's so interesting that how did we actually meet? I can't even recall. It was very random.
That's a great question.
Right?
I can't remember.
Because we collaborated during COVID, right?
We did, yeah.
During COVID, because at the time I think everything was shut. It was and I wanted to help raise funds for a charity that I supported. So I got in touch with Lucas because I think I was already buying the socks Talking Toes brand, and I said, hey, let's design a pair of socks to sell for charity. And so Lucas designed the double confirm Hosean Leong How Like That socks that we sold, which I'm going to show you now. There, like that. Like that.
Yeah. Hey, I've got one too,
Yeah. So you can step on my face when you wear my socks.
I do that all the time. Yes.
And more coming your way. Anyway, so that's how I think we kind of collaborated. And then that got us thinking when we started the Leong Forum podcast, why socks? Why it's such a competitive industry, the apparel industry, somehow being a local brand. So tell us how it all started.
I mean, I'm glad you brought up the point competitive, because socks in general as a category, it is very competitive. It's almost commoditized, right? But what we're bringing, what we bring as Talking Toes is something that is completely different. We're bringing purpose, we're bringing meaning into the sock. So we're moving it from like a commoditized product to something that's a lot more purposeful.
Okay.
So that's like the way we design the brand so that it kind of stands out. So there's a lot of impact, there's a lot of meaning, a lot of storytelling behind the product and brand.
How can socks be purposeful? We'll get to that later on. But why socks in the first place? I mean, why not something like a
T-shirt.
necktie, t-shirt, a scarf, something more visible, more in your face, more prestigious, if you like?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. Sometimes I also wonder,
Why get to the bottom of
why
things?
socks, right?
Yeah, why not underwear?
That one you really can't even show anybody.
Actually, why not?
Okay, never mind.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
But socks are visible. It's cute.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And it's subtle.
And
It's
it's
not
subtle,
like
yeah.
that. It's like
Like a t-shirt.
Exactly. I see. So so that's why socks. But how does that bring purpose? Maybe for people who are not familiar with your brand, what's the purpose?
So I always tell people this, we are a purpose-driven brand.
Yeah.
Right. And the way we do it is through three main ways. One is through the materials that we use, which we use earth-friendlier materials like organic cotton and recycled nylon. These are some of the materials we use. The other way that we inject like purpose into the brand is through the Give Back program. So 10% of our gross profits, we donate that to a partner charity or nonprofit.
Oh, good.
So there's a lot of impact in the sock, right? In a positive way. And the last one, which is the most visible one, and also the reason why we are called Talking Toes, are the messages on the toes, right? So these messages are, like mental health reminders. It can be like cute little messages just to give you that gentle uplift in the morning when you put them on. So that's where like the purpose comes in.
So have you had examples or people tell you that it has actually helped them?
Yeah, I actually have so many examples. So I remember this one like relatively vividly, right? Because it's a long time ago. And it was this mom, you know, she told us that her son, I think he had some condition. I couldn't remember exactly what it was, but he loved our socks, right? Because they were so cute, they were so colorful, and he would read the messages when he puts them on, and he remembered them.
Wow.
And it was something that was really impactful for her as a mom to see her son, you know, being so engaged with something as, you know, seemingly mindless as putting on a pair of socks. Yeah.
You know, suddenly I'm thinking like maybe we should have socks kid size for preschoolers, just the ABCs all the way to the letter Z, just to get them to appreciate reading and learning how to tell.
You like put the alphabet on the sock.
Yeah, ABC all the way, like all around the place.
That's 26 pairs.
No, not a single letter on one pair, but the letters of the alphabet. Anyhow, that's a different story. But you know, coming back to socks and all, tell us about how it all started, because I believe that the starting point, or at least the initial years, were really tough for the brand, for yourself.
Yeah. So I mean, you're spot on about that. The initial years were really tough, right? We went through quite a bit of changes. Where do I start actually?
From the
beginning.
From the beginning. Wow, it's such a long story.
Okay, but I did a little bit of a read up, and I think you were not the founder of the business, but you joined it about 6 months in when it started operating already, and you were doing more the creative aspects of the business, right?
Correct.
Okay, you can take it from there.
I'll take it from there. So yes, I did not start the brand. I joined it, and the way I came across the brand was in a way really interesting also. You know, I was doing my own like business at that time. It was a small business, and you know, I chanced upon Talking Toes at a flea market. Back in the day, it was called I think
Pasar
Red
Malam.
Dot. No, not Pasar Malam.
Red Dot
But
building.
Red Dot. There was a Red Dot Design
Yeah.
Museum, and then they had this
Maxwell Road.
Maxwell, yeah.
Correct, that
Yeah.
one. Like every, I think first Friday or alternate Fridays in the month, you know, they'll have this like creative bazaar.
Yeah,
right?
showcasing local designers.
Correct. It was super cheap at that time. I think it was like free for some brands, or like $50 a booth. So I was there, and then I chanced upon the, you know, this brand. It was I saw these like bunch of socks being laid across the table. And at first, I didn't think too much of it, because, you know, like socks everywhere. Like Pasar Malam, you have them. You know, you go to department stores, you have them. But then I noticed, you know, each pair of socks had a little message on the toes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And when they had these messages that were a lot more simple than the ones we have today. I think one of them was like dream big, right? So like simple ones, or like take chances. We had like simple messages. And the brand kind of resonated with me. Sorry, the product resonated with me at that time, because of my own personal struggles with, you know, my mental health. I at that time, I was still somewhat, you know, grappling with it. So seeing these like cute socks with like uplifting messages on the toes, it just kind of made me feel like it's such a nice product. Like I would love to wear it, and I think a lot of people would, you know, enjoy a product like that.
So
it started there.
So this is where it started. But what is your background though? I mean, what did you study, and then because you designed some of the stuff, right? All the socks, in fact. So did you come from a design background?
So I don't come from a design background, actually. Yeah, I've always been like, you know, creatively driven since like I was a kid. But I come from a business background.
Wow. Okay.
Can't tell.
Right brain and left brain.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. So yeah, business background, entirely different. I mean,
but that's great too. In order to be an entrepreneur, you need to have some sort of business background, or rather you trial and error. But then creating socks and designing socks, colors and everything. I mean, you designed my socks for me. what inspires you?
I take inspiration. To be honest, I take inspiration from so many things because there's so many like nice things out there, so many beautiful things, so many colorful things, and it's not hard to take inspiration from your environment. You just have to notice them, right? So for me, although I came from like a business background, I taught myself design skills. So at first it was mainly, the technical stuff because it's
Right.
easier to start there, like watching YouTube,
Right.
taking up like tutorials online because you could find them, anywhere at that time even. So I kind of like picked up that skill, and over time, my how do you call it? I became like better with like the design thinking side of things. Became a bit more creative in that way.
That's
Yeah.
great.
But definitely your job scope has expanded, right? From initially at the start, just looking at the creative side of the business, of the house, and then now you are the CEO of the brand as well and the face of the brand as well. Were they big shoes to fill? I mean, you talked about, yes, needing to do some courses here and there to make sure that you've got all the grounds covered, all the bases covered. But were they big shoes to fill? Are you already warmed up in taking charge of the entire business?
I think they are definitely so the shoes now it's bigger lah. So in the past when I took over, it was just myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I had the chance to, grow
Experiment still.
into the role, and it was something I've always wanted to do, wanted to drive the business side of things. So as a kid, I've always wanted to do business, right? Because I think I enjoy the freedom that comes with it, the flexibility and the ability to actually, make bigger impact, at least have control of the impact you make, right? So it's kind of like a shoe that I've always wanted to wear in that way. And, I just, Talking Toes became like the medium for me to do it.
So you've grown in 9 years. How big's your team now?
Right now, we are 5 people.
Oh, 5 people only, yeah? And doing everything,
Doing so many things, right?
right?
When I met you, I was just myself. Yeah.
Oh,
It
really?
was just myself.
You,
Yeah.
yourself, and Lucas.
Yeah,
Three of you.
Wow.
three of us. Yeah, the different departments.
My
creative and
goodness.
business.
You see, amazing, right? Being an entrepreneur and how you grow, and you got to learn everything, do everything on your own, right? Have you ever thought of expanding overseas?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
Have
It's
you
part
done
of
it?
the plan?
Done already?
We're working on it right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Come on, Malaysia.
Yeah. I mean, it's happening. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Soon.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. You need a distributor.
Coming soon.
Yeah, but it's definitely a very competitive business.
Yeah, it is, man.
In apparel, in the socks business, especially. But those harrowing early years, were there moments where you thought, nah, this is not going to work. I'm going to pull out. I'm going to bail. I'll forget the ambition, the big dream, drop the idea, and restart something, do something else.
That thought has come across like so many times to me. Over especially in the first few years, 1 year after I took over the business, I had so many thoughts of just throwing in the towel. It takes up a lot of time and energy to run a business or to grow a business. And it takes up even more, it feels even more unfulfilling in some way when you don't see the results.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the feeling I had at the first initial few years,
Okay.
the initial first few years. So, I really wanted to throw in the towel.
So, okay, let me just say, because we have a cousin who has just started out and his own business. I think he's trying to grow his business, and he's a bit how would I say, discouraged because it's not taken off. So is there a time frame that you would advise an entrepreneurs or startups? What is the time frame you give yourself to fail or to before you hit that target? Is there a time frame?
Yeah, or is there a budget?
Yeah, I mean, budget is budget lah. But there's a time frame, right? Before you go, suddenly you hit your stride.
Yeah. I don't think I have like a one size fits all answer
Yeah.
to that. Because I think every business is kind of different, right? For me, it was a long time. 2016 was when I joined the business. 2020 was 2020 was the year I took over the business.
COVID.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, right. I mean, right, exactly like
Yeah.
COVID.
Okay. And then and how is it now? It's the business is
The
flying.
business,
Toasting?
yeah, the business is doing well.
Cruising?
It's growing.
So it's about 5 years, right? There,
Yeah.
give and take.
But when I took over the business, it was in shambles.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I like we were in debt.
Yeah,
I owed my dad money,
sure,
right? The business owed its suppliers money.
sure.
So it wasn't like in good shape, you know. Like I think even up till 2021. So I took 1 year, 2020, 21 to kind of like rebrand the business, think about how you really want to do things. So from 2016 to 2021 was the time that I would say it was like the valley of death. Right?
Wow.
We went through the valley of death.
Wow.
Yeah. We stayed there for so long, for 5 years to not see any results. It's a really long time, isn't
It's a
it?
long time, yeah.
And you didn't have brick and mortar, right? So it was, where were your socks? Or where could the people find it online?
At that time, actually, we worked with so in 2019, I brought in like another partner, right? So he was a distributor,
Right.
right? So he distributed, one of the world's largest sock brands at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he said he approached us. He said like, Lucas, I think there's potential in your brand, and I want to help you guys grow. So I was really excited at that time.
Okay.
And what he promised us was he could immediately put us in different brick and mortar stores.
Right.
Like, all the major department stores in
Department
Singapore.
stores, yeah.
Yeah, and we did go in actually in every major department store that you know of in Singapore. We were there. We had like a full pillar of socks, and at some point, but it was very short lived.
Okay, all right. So now all your sales is done online or at pop-ups and stuff, is it?
It is now done online at pop-ups. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So to think about that, in 2019, I remember I was telling you about a distributor, right?
Yeah.
Then he said, "Well, I'll put you in all the department stores."
Yeah.
And then guess what happened in 2019? COVID.
COVID,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
the end of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
No, yeah, everything was shut
like
lah.
within like 2 to 3 months, suddenly all these department stores were like
Right.
Yeah.
right,
were
right,
not
right.
bringing much revenue at all. They were closed for I think circuit breaker for
Twice.
twice, yeah.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
goodness. So that stops the whole that part of your business lah.
Yeah, but didn't
Yeah.
stop you, right? The business continued. It plowed through the whole thing. I mean, it's crazy how you were able to endure and be resilient through that whole period. But like you said, there were moments where you thought, okay, throw in the towel. Did you ever look at your socks and the messages that were on them to find hope? Did they speak to you personally?
Yeah, actually, I mean that's my like. So one thing about me is I remember every sock that I've ever created.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
and I remember the message as well.
Wow.
So I mean, you're right. At that time, I would pick like socks that resonated with how I was feeling that day, and it was honestly most days I was just like it was terrible, right?
So tell us the process of design to manufacturing to shipping and all that. How does it all happen?
Well, it's a long process. It
Yeah.
takes a couple of months, right, from ideation all the way to receiving the actual product. So we first start off like with an idea of like a type of collection we want to create, right? And to give you an example, we did like a supermarket series back in December. So it started off with the idea of wanting to create supermarket grocery themed socks, and then we would go ahead and consider what kind of like messages would relate to like what fruits or vegetables or local produce and stuff like that. So it's a very fun and creative process because you don't just think about the design, you think about the message also,
Yeah, exactly.
and and they have to work together.
Yeah. Suddenly I'm thinking that MSF might want a pair of socks that says be fruitful and multiply.
Wapiang.
Sorry.
All right. You need a script writer.
Moving on. No, but I mean most of the lines are, rather punny.
They are super
They
funny.
have to be funny in some way.
No, they are. They are, exactly. And then you had the whole cat series ones as well.
We got the cat ones. Yeah.
Yeah, what's the
One of my
newest one
favorites.
at the moment? Like, oh,
The newest one is the we just released like this like performance.
yeah, I saw that online
collection.
on Instagram. The performance. What's that about?
What was this performance?
So the performance socks are made with recycled nylon. Yeah. So the reason it's mostly made of synthetic material, and there's a reason for that because for athletes performing at like a high level, they might be either cycling for long periods of time or running like long distances. It can cause, if you don't wear the right socks, it can cause abrasion.
Yeah, blisters and all.
Right. So a fully nylon polyester based sock would allow for your your feet to feel more comfortable.
And this is the performance range because it's meant to be more comfortable, more enduring in some sense.
It's more enduring and more comfortable because you're wearing it for like high performance activities.
Oh, okay. But they still carry the same funny messages.
They still carry the same.
So I can buy and wear for my
Uplifting.
tennis game, for instance.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, cool.
absolutely perfect for your tennis games. I would say.
Awesome.
Well, there you go.
All right, I'll look for
Bye.
it. Something that matches the tennis ball.
All right. Okay. So you said earlier that you are going to go beyond the shores of Singapore. Do you get any assistance from, I don't know, government or funding, for example? Because for a fact, I know that because now with the special economic zone that's happening between Singapore and Johor, there are a lot of fundings going on right now.
Incentives, eh?
Incentives for businesses in Singapore to come into Johor, etc., etc. So, do you get help?
Right. I haven't, done extensive research on the opportunities, the grants available yet. We're actually looking at a region that's a bit further away. Yeah. So we're looking, in the Western markets at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you feel that the Western market will be open to a Singaporean brand with Singaporean messages. Well, not Singaporean in a sense, but in like how like that,
Yeah. So we'll bring a bit of, so on each pack, like it says, designed in Singapore.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's the Singapore element. So the other parts that will be possibly Singaporean is we'll bring, designs that is Singapore related. And we'll bring them over to those markets, make them available there.
So Enterprise Singapore, look out for this one. Give grants.
And I can even see STB, looking at the product and saying, yeah, this can literally travel. Because, if you're going to put the Merlion or the, iconic buildings and all on the sock, it's going to represent Singapore so well, including a vendor, Ms. Joachim.
Yeah, you've got the Merlion sock. I've got that one, I think.
That was a while back, I think.
A while back already. With the boat
We might
one
need to
as
do a new refresh.
Yeah. Okay. Refresh for the Western market.
Are there certain demographic groups or people types or generations that are gravitating towards your socks? Or is it the younger people maybe, or the older person?
We have a good mix, I think. We have the younger people, and we have the Gen Zs and the millennials, mostly engaging with like our brand and our products. So our products are also it's priced at a bit of a premium, so it's not in a way very accessible at this price point. So we still get retail mainly. So a lot of millennials would buy from us. Yeah, and there's a reason for the high price point also. So it's the materials we use are a lot pricier than some of the alternatives out there, and there's also our give back program. So all these kind of contribute to like the premium price point.
Yes, like
So-
sustainability built in.
Yeah, but talking about the give back program, how did that come about? I mean, like the partnerships and all that stuff. Are you able to talk about who these beneficiaries are?
Yeah, I mean, happy to. We actually work with so many different ones, right? The first collection that we launched that had this give back element to it was the one with Samaritans of Singapore. So we
Okay.
did this collection called the Socks That Give Hope.
Is this the one that with the sunflower one? No.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
remember,
one.
yeah,
Yes.
that one.
Yes. Yeah, because it's very encouraging because the sunflower. Yeah. So, how do you approach them, or they approach you, or how does it work? Partnerships, because I mean, if someone out there listening in is a charity and they say, oh, this could help, uplift my beneficiaries. How do they come? How do they do this?
Yeah, so it happens in a very organic way.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes we reach out if like I feel that there is this particular cause that we want to support. There's this particular social or environmental impact that we want to make. Then I will reach out, right? But other times we get people reaching out to us as well.
So at any one point, are there different beneficiaries that you're working closely with, or is it more like this year is going to be this charity of the year for me for Talking Toes, and next year will be somebody else?
Great question. We actually work with so many. So our primary our primary collection, what I call it our core collection, the ones that are not affiliated to other causes, those support mental health.
Okay.
Right, and the other ones, like we have this thing called the impact collection. That's where all the other designs sit. We design specific, socks that support specific causes.
Like the one that Hosean had placed an order for.
Yeah, well, mine was because that was my own
was his one,
personal
yeah.
cause. So then that's why I approached Lucas
Yeah.
for help. Yeah.
But we have like some of them that are more. So we have one which is a cat one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We mentioned the cat welfare. That one supports
Welfare
cat welfare
Society.
society,
Okay.
right? So we work with them closely. We work with them to design the sock, and then we also pledge 10% of the gross profits from the sock to their cause. Yeah. For the design, if you look at the cat welfare one, you notice that the cat design has like got one of its ears clipped.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. You can look really closely at that one.
Yeah. And do you know what it means?
That they have been sterilized.
Correct, yeah. So it's not just a cat sock, it's a
No.
cat sock that represents
Yeah.
the work that they do also.
Yeah.
So it's so good that a sock is not just a sock for Talking Toes. That there's a purpose, that there is meaning behind it. It uplifts the mood, and so that's all in this wonderful brand that you have, Lucas, and we congratulate you for that. But let's go back to the fact that you are an entrepreneur, that you run a business that. Well, in a sense, a startup. When you started, you took over the business. We may have listeners who are listening and going like, "Oh, I don't know what to do. I want to do my own business and all that." Do you have any advice for them? I mean, how do you go into it? Do you just gung ho say, 敢敢我要去做, and boom, go
Chase
into
your
it?
dream.
Yeah, I mean, how does one begin?
I think there's a bit of that, there's a bit of that like chase your dream.
Right, you have to,
out of
right?
it.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
how
you have to be
do
like crazy enough to want to do it. Because it's so damn hard.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so damn hard to do a business.
So step one, what do you do?
Have a dream.
Yeah, I think you gotta have a vision first,
Vision.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta have like a vision of the impact that you want to make.
So vision as in why are you doing this?
You have to have the why.
The why you're doing
You have
this.
to have the why.
Okay. And
It doesn't have to be super specific, right?
right.
Because it can develop over time.
Yeah.
But you at least need to have like some sort of a why, and it's got to resonate with you a lot.
Right. Because the why could always morph and evolve as you right?
Yeah, and it will. It
And it
will
will,
morph
right?
and evolve, yeah.
How has the business evolved so far? I mean, 9 years on from when it was first founded till now, how has it evolved along the way?
It's changed quite a bit actually. So the turning point was when I took over the business. When I first got exposed to the brand, it was a pair of socks with mental health messages, and we had this tagline that said "Walking on Inspiration." So the focus was a lot on like inspiration, on positivity, and at that time a lot of these messages were they resonate with the millennials in a way.
Right.
I could to a certain extent they were also a little bit preachy, Some of them were a little bit like that, but it was like at that time it was the trend, right? Like you have these motivational posters. And all
Yeah,
that.
because
Right.
you tapped into the zeitgeist of the millennials at that point of time. A
At that
lot of
point of
them
time.
were very like, okay, what's my purpose? I'm
Yeah.
finding, I'm lost, you know? Yeah.
And everyone was like, that was like the hustle culture and all that thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was a very different time back
Yeah,
then.
but it wasn't that too long ago, though.
I know, but things change so fast.
This is what this podcast is all about. We are both trying to make sense of this changing world, you know? Okay, so then step 2, what happens after that?
So we were at the time a lot about inspiration. So when I took over the business, I considered like how we could, make the brand. I felt at that time inspiration was great, but it kind of only relates to the person who's wearing it, right?
Right.
And I wanted the sock to have like a bigger impact. And so I thought like, how can we elevate the inspirational, thing about the brand?
When you say bigger impact, you're not talking about people with bigger size feet, right?
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, that as well. But no, it's not about that. Yeah. But funnily enough, we developed another size. So in some sense, you're right.
Which is coming, by the way. I ordered a bigger size too.
Yeah. See, there we go.
Also, it's not one size fits all. It's not free size anymore. You're gonna get a wider range.
We introduced like a larger size to
larger
cater to more more people.
So let's get back to elevating it then. So how did you go about bringing it to the level up?
So I moved it. So So I come from a brand consulting background.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I should talk about that first.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
So I had certain confidence in relaunching the brand because I kind of had the tools to do it. Yeah. While I was in the business in Talking Toes, from 2017 to 2019, I was a brand consultant. So I had a full-time job at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was there I picked up my skills as a consultant. And when we did the relaunch of the brand, I did a bunch of focus group interviews. I did interviews with my customers, and then we learned a few things about the brand, and the data that I gathered kind of influenced my decision to move from inspiration to purpose. Right, because I feel like, purpose encompasses so many more things. There's a lot more meaning behind it, and it doesn't just relate to the person who's wearing the sock. It also talks about, the impact that person will make in their own circles.
Indians, yeah.
And it talks about the impact that the product will make. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we moved there. Yeah.
So you switched from inspiration to purpose, and then getting that message out though, marketing and branding, which is your specialty. How did you then market the purpose? Because purpose is something that's quite esoteric, right? So how do you market purpose?
And you don't want to be too preachy about it too.
Yeah, it can be quite abstract, right?
Yeah.
The concept of purpose.
Yeah, purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do we market it? I think we do it through those 3 ways, that I mentioned just now. There's a lot of purpose in a way, like it starts with meaning, right? Like purpose is there's a sort of like a directional, quality to meaning, right? But we started with meaning. So we wanted to give the sock like a greater meaning. Like it's not just, about inspiration anymore. There's about like social impact, social good.
Right.
So we incorporated sustainability into the product. We incorporate the give back program. And these things, make the sock elevated from like a commodity
Right.
to becoming something greater. So when people, a lot of times when customers tell us this, also when they put on the sock, they feel like it's apart from the quality being really nice, it's also a very nice feeling to put it on.
Right. I don't know. For want of a better word, empowering.
Very empowering, yeah.
Right.
Not my words. Customers tell me that, yeah.
Right, because you wear it, you look at the socks and you go, this inspires me. It's got purpose, and I wear it, and it's doing good for XYZ, whatever, the give back, sustainability, etc., etc. Yeah.
Double confirm.
Why?
Because it says double
Can't you
confirm on
just
your
take off
pair
your
of
shoes?
socks. No wonder I
Maybe
have
we should all
cold feet,
take off.
cold foot. I took one shoe off just to showcase Hosen's sock design here. Double
Yeah, because
confirm.
we did that for the charity that I support, which is Arc Children's Center. It's a center where they take care. Thanks. They take care of children with terminal illness, and so it's such good work that they do. In fact, the founders Ronita and Jerry won Singaporean of the Year last year. Because of the amazing work that they do. So that's why I approached you for the event. And we're going to have a new batch come in soon. So watch out
okay.
for that. Yeah. Do you think only Ronnie Ching has socks, man?
Another question about socks as well and designing it, if I may. How do you choose, where to put, say, Hosen's face on the sock? Why not right at the bottom? Or which part? The ankle, up to the higher ups.
No, I was very impressed when you showed me the designs. I
What
thought,
considerations,
wow, yeah.
really?
How did you come up with that?
Left, the right, front, back.
Right. I don't think there's like a formula to it, to be honest. A lot of it is sort of like, a bit of art. The formula part of things comes in the application of it. So a sock is actually a very technical piece of clothing. Like it's a knit, it's not a print.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so if you don't do it right, it can become
Warped.
like very tight or warped. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could gain a few
You could
pounds.
disfigure Hosen's face on
Yeah.
the sock.
You don't need much help for that. But so what the whole process of this sock thing was very interesting because you kept sending me designs and you asked me questions. So it was an interview process. Yeah.
What sort of questions did
I mean,
Lucas ask
like
you?
first of all, color, right? What messages that I want to give people, because a lot of times, and this particular sock, how like that, is a question. I think I ask myself a lot of times, when I'm facing a situation and I
Like
go, how like that, it could be a sigh or it could be a how like that, So for me, it was very ambiguous.
He's got a sticker of that. I get on WhatsApp and all.
So and
I've got it too.
I'm sorry.
no, so that's why I was really impressed with Lucas's line of questioning, that you actually encapsulate the design and the person or the social cause that you're involved in. And so does that always happen in your designs and your thought processes?
Yeah, there's a lot of thought that goes into the designs. I think it's also because of my background as a consultant previously. So we asked a lot of questions. So yeah, and but yeah, I mean that's part of also like the brand. In a way, like we talked about meaning, right? So I want our designs to have a lot of meaning behind them.
The manufacturing process must have come with a lot of problems and
Frustrations.
issues.
So many.
and-
We've gotten better at it, so much better.
Okay.
But at the start, it was quite difficult.
What are those issues that you have to face?
More like QC?
Not QC, surprisingly. So QC is quite good. We sometimes have issues, but it's not the biggest issue at least. The biggest one I would say would be because it's a knit, right? Like you said, if you don't do it right, the sock can be too tight. So there's a functional, and socks need to be functional. There's a functional element to it. Yeah. So figuring out, how to design the sock was something that we got better over time. Yeah, because the sock is also like a tube.
Yeah.
So it's got to be seamless from the front to the back. So
Wow.
that's the tricky thing also. Not like a t-shirt, you just do like one rectangle and then just do it. Just print it at the back, right? So it's not like that. You have to consider how it connects.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's also talk about sock care. You probably care so much about socks that you know how best we should be taking care of our socks and making sure that they last forever.
Forever is a long time.
Yeah.
Forever is a high promise.
Yeah,
High
exactly.
promise.
And we don't want it to last forever, so we can
Oh
get
yeah,
new
yeah,
ones.
yeah. I mean, not forever. as long as possible. My tennis, the socks that I wear for my tennis games, I think I don't cut my toenails all that often, so I always get
didn't need to know
holy
that,
socks. And
but
anyhow,
okay.
but how do we make sure that our socks are well taken care of? Is there a certain way of handling them, washing them, folding them, balling them up after we've had them dried?
I have like all these like
Sock
what do you
tips.
call it, sock tips, right?
Sock care tips.
But to be honest, I also don't follow them. I just throw them in the washer, But okay, one of the ways to do it
You don't
is
hand wash them, do you?
No
I
lah.
don't hand wash.
Okay,
I have
okay.
so many socks. I have like 100 pairs or something.
Yeah, so no particular tip, just whatever rocks your socks.
Yeah, I think
basically.
so. Our socks are have been known to last quite a long time already. Not
Absolutely.
forever, but
this
but
has
pretty
been
close.
since 2020. Like, it's 5 years already, no?
I mean, yours is
Yeah, see, the color still
Right, and I wear
hasn't
them
run.
almost
Yeah.
all the
Right.
time, and the people that I've gifted them to, I always tell them it's Talking Toes, and they're very, very impressed with it. So congratulations on the quality and everything about it, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
All right,
But
so-
maybe we should have a sock that says "cut your toenails." That will help.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
man.
just have
Yeah.
slightly thicker fabric on the front.
Yeah,
With the
it's
big-
already got
It's
it's
already-
already slightly
it's-
reinforced. Actually,
Yeah, I thought so. At
Just
least
go for your
pair.
pedicure.
So no holes
thanks.
yet.
Okay, so let's just project yourself into the future right now, Lucas. You've been doing this for what, 9 years? You were saying, 2015, 2016, 2019 to now. What's in store for you coming up? Short term, long term.
There's like the short term plans and the long term plans, but I'd say that we want to continue to make great socks. I think that's something that we will continue to do and want to continue to do, because also there are not that many sock brands in Singapore.
Oh, really? As in
local
like
ones,
local
at
sock
least.
brands. Oh, okay. Okay.
Not too many. You have a few small brands, or you have a few brands that do socks, but not many brands that specialize in socks.
Absolutely.
So I think we want to continue to do that because our customers love the kind of designs we bring. Some of them come with a local twist also, right?
So, are you the only designer, or do you have a team who to do it?
So right now we have it's a team of 2 of us, myself included. So the creative department is like number 2 people. Yeah,
And this is double of what it used to be.
double.
So that's already
100% more.
I'm curious about the pair of socks that you've chosen to wear today. We didn't ask you to specifically wear any kind of sock, but you've come in. It looks like one that may have a message that might go something like busy as a bee. I have no idea. I see a bee on your sock, your yellow pair of socks.
So about this sock, right? So that's how I kind of want the sock to be also. I want these socks to be conversation starters. And because you notice my bee sock, it starts a conversation, right? And I can tell you that this bee design, we work with Save the Bee, a non-profit organization focused on bee conservation.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the design line. That's the conversation starter element of it. Then there's also the message on the toe. So this one says, "Keep believing in yourself."
So cute.
Yeah.
Don't
so
stop
believing, right?
believing.
So that's where the puns come in. Yeah.
I see. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Do the messages need to be higher up though? I mean, because it did not
No, but
many
the
occasions.
messages are meant for yourself, right?
Oh, the message meant for yourself to read.
Yes.
Oh, no wonder they're facing me. Wait, what does yours say? You, what? I
See
can't read.
lah.
I'm Lao Hua. Hossein, what does it say?
Wait, let me watch
You
this.
confirm. You something confirm. No, you.
Can you bring me nearer?
You.
You confirm can one. See? So it's for yourself. When you
Oh,
wear it in
okay,
the
the one
morning,
that's
you're
yeah.
feeling down, you think you cannot go through the day, you wear and you go, I confirm can one.
You confirm can one, right? Got
There
it.
you go.
Okay. So the message is actually for yourself, but like you say, Lucas,
But then
it's
everything
good
else is a conversation starter.
How like that?
No, and this is true though, because when people see this, they go, they don't notice it at first. Then suddenly, someone in the middle of a conversation went, "That's your face." I went, "Yes." How like that? And then I bring in the whole, how I'm raising funds for my charity.
Yeah.
And I think it's a wonderful way to help society and the community in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anything, I don't know if we asked you that before, but you're gonna just stay with socks?
Yeah. So you just now you're asking me about my plans, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna be doing more socks.
Okay.
For sure, because socks is like what we enjoy. It's
Yeah.
cute. We also recently last year actually we started expanding into other products.
Oh.
So we've grown into tees, and caps as well.
Okay. Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Those are quite new still, yeah.
But
Okay.
also with the whole, positivity thing attached to those range of products.
Yeah, so when we were thinking about how we could grow into like a new product, right? We considered how can we make this like talking toast, right? How can we make it talking like a how can we bring this talking toast signature into these products? So one of the things that a lot of customers tell us they resonate with is the message on the toast.
Right.
And so we brought that hidden message, right, onto the t-shirts, onto the caps as well. So if you pick up one of our t-shirts and you're getting ready to wear it, you'll see actually this message on just right below the neckline. It's a label that it's got an empowering message for you.
So it's at the back of your neck, on the neckline.
Yeah, just right below the neckline.
Okay.
Sometimes where the size labels are, or
Yeah.
there's like a patch behind for some t-shirts. What we have there, instead of being the brand, it's a message.
Okay,
for
so
yourself.
it's inward facing.
Inward facing.
got
yeah.
it.
So no one knows except you.
Which is the whole point of the socks as
Yeah.
well. Lah. So
They
which is
speak to
great.
you,
And
the
in
wearer.
caps as well.
And caps also. So there's an embroidery on the inside. If you
On the
I don't know
peak.
if you want to show you now, but then not on the peak, like on your when you wear it, it's like here.
It's against your
Oh,
forehead.
forehead,
And your
yeah.
forehead.
Yeah.
It's so clever. Okay. So if people want to know more about your products, where can they find you?
They can find us. I think the easiest one would be online, of course.
Yeah.
At talkingtoestsocks.com. That's where a lot of customers shop at. They can also visit any of our retailers. Like
Okay. So you do have retailers now.
we have a
Because the retail department stores are all open now. COVID's over.
I see. No, because I thought you all stopped that bit of it already.
yeah. We stopped at that time, but
So same distributor, or you just own self go in now?
no, it's ourselves now.
Good on
yeah.
you.
Correct.
Any new series coming up as well? I mean, I don't know. I can think of SG60.
No, or how often do you keep changing?
Yeah,
Right.
that too.
Or new stuff coming up.
Right. Well, we come up with like a new collection once every 1 to 2 months.
Oh, that's quite
yeah.
frequent.
Right. And I think SG60, right? I think
Is
something's
something
coming up.
brewing? I
Yeah,
see your
something's
eyebrows
coming
going
I
up.
saw because I saw your IG like watch this space or something like that.
What's happening? What's happening?
Yeah.
Well,
Are we
watch
allowed
this
to talk
space
about?
lah.
Oh, okay.
Still under wraps. Right?
Exactly.
But something exciting is happening.
So, I mean, what advice you have for people listening in, going like, I think I've asked you this already, but maybe if you got something else to add on top of that, what besides the fact that you need a vision, you need to have a why and all
Yeah.
that stuff. These are all very, up there things. But anything practical?
Practical, right? I'm glad you asked that because I do have like a point of view on that. Right? I feel that it's so we're in this like generation, this era where you cannot really say you don't know how to do something.
Wow.
Because there's ChatGPT.
Yeah, even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's even easier now with ChatGPT, with AI and everything, right? But even without that, you have like so many resources online. You could like, fix about just about anything, right? Like you can change your phone's battery, even like there are videos on that, right? Or even videos about like like how to design a sock, for example, right?
My goodness. Hey, don't tell
So
people after your business there.
No, it's not about the how to design, it's the why.
Wow. Okay, very good. Yeah, but it's true though. So everything that people,
It's all out there.
It's all out there. It's just whether people bother, and whether you have the what do you call that? The drive. Yeah, the drive. You're a millennial, right? So okay, I'm not gonna go into the next younger generation.
aging
but
himself.
Do you feel that perhaps there isn't that drive that's happening right now?
in the young,
I
in
mean,
the younger ones.
yeah, let's
'Cause
just
that's
say
the
in
talk, right?
general, you know?
Yeah.
Because
I
a
think
lot of
in
people go
general,
like, I don't know, everything's I don't know. Oh, I don't know, I can't do it, I don't know.
I think there is a general, like, what do you call it? Like
They're kind of like a apathy or
I think there's like a certain like
Bold-sharpness.
tiredness, I think.
really tiredness.
Yeah.
Even
I-
amongst the younger people who feel like, oh, I don't want to do.
maybe okay, maybe not in Singapore. I think at least among my team, right? Like they still, I don't feel that lah. But I mean, globally, I think there is like a certain jadedness or like,
Really? Already?
you know, in the younger people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel that. I do feel that the younger generation actually, at least in my experience, in my circles, like they do have that drive, right? But you have to give them that right environment to do it, and you have to.
Give them the purpose.
They have to see the purpose behind it.
Ah, that's right.
Actually, as a millennial, we were already like relatively purpose driven, really.
Right.
We were seeking like new experiences. We were finding our calling and stuff.
I love the way you went calling.
Right. I mean, looked up. It's a very millennial thing, lah. So with the Gen Zs, I feel it's there is still that level of finding that purpose. I think it's even more important for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's the kind of environment they grew up in. They've got everything.
You got everything, right? Everything's
Yeah.
online and
Yeah,
stuff
don't
like
need to hustle so hard. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's interesting because I think for us growing up, it was survival. We had no choice. Regardless of purpose, ours was
Yeah.
really one sick, must go and cari
Find
makan.
food, yeah.
Yeah, so that's very interesting. So, I mean, on that note, we're going to wrap up the podcast with regard to purpose, and the purpose of having you here is to encourage, the listeners who are watching the long form, that there is hope, there is inspiration ahead. If you've got a vision, go for it, grab it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You gotta go for it.
you got to go
Yeah.
for it, right? Otherwise, how?
But have like purpose in that.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Have
Yes.
a clear idea of what you want to do.
Wonderful. Well, on that note, thank you so much, Lucas Saw.
Thank you.
And Talking Toes, watch out for that because there's new stuff coming up. SG60, we are looking forward to what's happening with Talking Toes. Lucas won't say anything
your
right
eyes
now. Under wraps. But wherever you are, keep walking and keep talking. This is Hosean.
And this is Stanley, and we want to wish you bye-bye.